everybody, Jeffrey France. Don't want all the ladies to get all horned up because I'm looking good right now. But I've been working on my figure. I figure I'll probably be down to 200 pounds in 30 years, but I'm still working on it. Anyways, I want to talk to you guys about a few things. I want to talk about what is growing up in the 80s because I think the 80s are the greatest thing. And our parents always told us, well, when I grew up, we did this, when we did that. But we had some cool things in the 80s, and I want to talk about that. And I know a lot of you guys don't watch my videos. I know a lot of you guys don't like them. I get more hateful emails and text messages than Donald J. Trump himself. So, just want to talk to you about two things before I get into it. And I want everybody to comment and talk about their favorite memory or something they remember about growing up in the 80s. They've outlawed the game of pool. The white ball has to knock all the colored balls into the holes, and if you knock the black ball in, you lose. But if you knock the white ball in, you can pick it back up and keep playing. You just got to miss a turn. Henry, drum roll. Good job, fella. Anyways, they've outlawed the game of dominoes. They've now called it the Minneapolis Police Department. Too many whites on top of a black. So now it's called Minneapolis. Have a little fun, would you? I ain't making fun of nobody. I don't believe in hatred. I'm not a Democrat. Here's my greatest impersonation of Nancy Pelosi. Wilbur! So, right back to the 80s. So here we go. Share your favorite memories. When I was a kid, we used to have this thing called a record player. For you kids that get your CDs, here was our CD. We put it in a stereo. You set it on top of the pin. And when it was time to play, it dropped. We had big records. We had 45s. We had 33s. We had AM, FM radios on this 6-foot boat we had in our living room. Best thing ever. AM, FM. Bob the Dream Machine Friend. And if you want to play a record after this one, and it was a little bit smaller, like a 45, you just put this plastic condom right on there, and it would drop. But your mother would scream and yell at you and say, "Would you boys stop pounding your feet on the floor? You're going to skip the record." If you skip the... might as well go to a Nazi death camp. If you skip the record, you broke the needle. But we could take a penny, put it on top of the arm, masking tape it, and it would just play. We had great musicians like Anne Murray, Melissa Manchester, Dolly Parton, Islands in the Stream. That is what we are. No one in between. How can we be far? And then Kenny Rogers Chicken would come flying in there. Sail away with me to another world. We used to dance in our houses. We also had the greatest thing ever. Rabbit ears on our TVs. 358. God forbid they came out with Channel 43 and Ramona Robinson. Probably the hottest newscaster ever seen in my entire life. And who was the unlucky person that had to stand up there and hold the rabbit ears while your dad watched the TV? Jeffrey, move it to the left. Jeffrey, move it to the right. I look like a damn majorette, for God's sakes. Standing up there doing this, doing that. Ho, ho, ho. And then put tinfoil on the top. That brought all the channels in 3, 5, 8, and 43. But we didn't have remotes. We had, whose turn is it to flip the channel? That was the worst thing we ever heard. It's your turn, Jason. Get up there and take it from 3 to 5. Somebody get up here and change it. The game's on. And you just go up there and, all right, Jason, stand there. Hold the antenna. I'll be like, come on, man. Do the dance. 3, 5, and 8. Ain't this great? That's how we grew up. When you wanted a girlfriend in high school, you used to make her a mixtape. That was the greatest thing ever. You couldn't talk to her because all the girls I went to high school with in the 80s were hot. Jordan-ass jeans, fluffy hair with that little comb down. So you made him a mixtape. And you made a tape, and then you would record off the radio. All right, Matt Patrick and WKDD is playing this song. And then you would hear in the middle of it, and everyone in your room, your bedroom, would be like, damn, dude, your tape. So, take one of these, number 2 pencil, put it right in here, and you spin it, and you turn it right there. And you go up to the girl the next day at school, and you just be like, I made this for you. Normally, she dumped you if you made her a mixtape. So then you made her next mixtape for dumping you. And it was all the sad songs that you liked and you went home and cried about. We had the greatest rock bands in the 80s. A gentleman by the name of Yngwie Malmsteen could play the guitar like nobody. Ronnie James Dio, Deep Purple, Metallica. We had Rat. We had Bon Jovi. And then the one, if you want the girlfriend at the roller rink, which I didn't have many of those because I did that roller skating video earlier in the year. You put some Joe Elliott from Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me, and we had like a jukebox in our gym class, and it was free. Unlike the Pizza Bazaar where you had to pay 25 cents for it. And you would hear, love me like a bomb, 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 bomb. Come on, get it on. And all the girls would be like, oh my God, this is my tune. I'm dancing. And we'd just sit there like a bunch of nerds. Look at her. Look at her. Jordache jeans. Long before these skinny jeans come out. We didn't have selfies. We didn't have nothing. We had 25 cents in the jukebox. And that's what we did. But all this stuff going on. Quit staring at my package, ladies. I know you're all horned up. Because I'm looking pretty good right now. But we never... No teacher-student thing ever went on. The person that we loved the most. After school carnivals. The school carnivals where Ray Charles could throw a ping pong ball into a glass bowl and win a goldfish. And then everybody would, hey man, you won a goldfish. What the hell you do with a goldfish? All 3 of mine died. God rest their soul. They were good goldfish. Never gave me no problem. None. The lunch lady. The lunch lady was the most attractive person in the world. And you loved her. Because she gave you stuff like Johnny Marzetti, Succotash, and you carried them trays around like you were in prison, and you were hoping that Andy Dufresne crawled through 500 yards of his to escape the lunchroom. Long before we knew who Andy Dufresne was. And you had a pint of white milk, a pint of chocolate milk, and you could even open up your rubber coin change purse with a Chili Willy for 50 cents extra. And you would stand there and you would squeeze this. And you would say, Mrs. Caskey, how much do I owe you for the Chili Willy and an extra no-bake cookie? 60 cents, Jeffrey. Okay, Mrs. Caskey. And you would dig through this personal treasure chest you had hanging by one of them things that you would get like at the school carnival with the rabbit foot on it, that chain thing. And it seemed like the time you needed the money the most, you could never get it. You just stand there and squeeze that thing. Thank God for math. We had things in high school called burnouts. The smoking circle. A white circle. Kids today, you don't have no burnouts. You don't even know what a burnout is. You have guys that go, well, my name is John, and I relate more to women. I don't know what restroom to use. If you got a stem, plant a flower, but plant it in the garden, not in the lady's rose bed. Weirdo. Those are things. We had sock hops. We had the catwalk. We had the central gymnasium. We had the IBA. We had a thing called the bleacher creatures. Greatest thing ever created. Thank you, Timmy Campbell, for that one. Guys come with their faces all painted up, rooting on the basketball team. That was the greatest thing in the world. I spent over $180,000 buying an elevator pass in junior high, and come to find out, a year later, there ain't no elevator. I missed class like 14 times a day because I was trying to find an elevator. Then I had to buy a catwalk pass when I got to high school. We had things called Vokies. They weren't from a Skokie. Wasn't a Merle Haggard song. It was guys that were into welding and body shops and all that, but we had a swimming pool in our high school. Take that for gym class. Kids today, you'll never understand like this. Children, this here is called a Polaroid picture. That pretty little lady right there happens to be my mother. That pretty little lady right there happens to be my grandmother. And that pretty little lady right there happens to be Anna Mae Brass, who worked with my grandmother. But this is how we took selfies. You hit a button on a phone, this tongue would shoot out with this picture. And everyone would walk around. This is what they did. What you doing, man? I'm developing the film. We didn't have retakes. We couldn't delete nothing. You take your pictures to a photo mat, a roll of film, in the mall parking lot. You'd be like, be 24 hours. And one idiot in a car would look at the negatives and they'd say, France, you look like a moron. No, well, tell me about a good picture. That's the good picture. You look like a moron. And then you'd have to retake them. But we had things called flash bulbs. the flashbulb was out, he even walked around like a beggar. Hey, don't mean to interrupt you, sir, but would you happen to have a extra flashbulb handy? Me and my buddies are willing to pay anything. I'm trying to take some photos from a girlfriend in school. We're going to the homecoming dance this weekend. Kids today, they'll never get it. You'll never get it. Everything's a touch of a finger. We went through hell and high water to film, just to take a picture. That's when you knew your selfie was good. When someone walked around and Polaroid 365. Yeah, man, what's up? Nothing, dude. Looks good. Run out of that flashbulb, you're done. Then you gotta go back to your mom and dad. We ran out of bulbs. That's the worst thing in the world. That was the worst thing. And God forbid we had things called rotary phones. If you had like 4 9s in your phone number, you'd get tennis elbow trying to dial your high school girlfriend. You would. You'd be like, and if it rang busy, there's no such thing as call waiting. Oh, the phone must be off the hook. And because you're so insecure, you call her back 150 times. And she doesn't answer. And then she passes your best friend a note in school. Tell Jeffrey the phone was off the hook. No, it wasn't. You was talking to Charlie. That was life. It wasn't this instant, who's calling now? So kids nowadays, be thankful for what you have. Because back in the day, I didn't have it. I don't even want to hear my father's stories. I didn't want to hear my grandmother, grandfather's stories. Best of luck to you. Take care. Hopefully somebody smiles, and please add your comments about being in school in the 80s.